I usually start off these videos by regurgitating information about the game that I'm talking about, like the release date, along with its developer and publisher. But Landmark has officially changed that, and instead I want to start off by saying that it is very difficult to build a community, and it's even more difficult to keep them happy. In doing the Games You Might Remember series, I have read countless walls of texts from people that are just crushed and heartbroken by the loss of their favorite game, and even players that will refuse to accept a shutdown and try to create an emulation or private server, occasionally being successful, and those are good days. But when people are separated from their money, well, that quickly changes their grief into hostility, and some of Landmark's former players are very, very angry. There's absolutely no way I could talk about this game without going back to EverQuest Next, and that should give you a strong indication of how this video is going to pan out. See, Landmark was supposed to be the appetizer for EverQuest Next. It was a sandbox game with a great engine that can make round surfaces instead of consisting entirely of blocks, and the players were promised that what they made in Landmark had a chance of making an appearance in EverQuest Next. Now, with the success of creation games at the time, I feel like this was a brilliant idea, and it was a great way for the community to feel like they contributed to the architecture of the MMO for the next generation. But more importantly, the company created a product that people could invest in. Now, if you don't know how the EverQuest Next story ends, then you should watch one of the thousands of videos on it, although I would prefer if you watched mine. But after that game's fate was sealed, the developers had to figure out what to do with EverQuest Landmark, and their decision was to just drop EverQuest from the title, effectively separating it from the franchise, and turning it into a standalone game, which is like buying Halo 3, but only getting Forge mode, then Halo 3 never comes out, like poof, it's gone. Let's go over what you actually do in Landmark. You can mine rocks, dig into the ground, chop down a tree, you can climb a hill, you can build stuff, and you can build more stuff, and you can check out the stuff that other people have built. And by the way, the game map was gigantic, with some absolutely stunning landscape right off the bat. Plus, Landmark might have had the best building tools in an online game. There was no doubt that there was a steep learning curve to being able to use them effectively, but I mean, come on, you can make a completely smooth circle. That's already something that other creation games don't allow you to do. Also, you get a grappling hook, and I'm a huge fan of grappling hooks. I think they're cool. But the pay model for EverQuest Landmark was very harsh in my opinion. Not only were you spending the $10 to $100 to get into the early access, but you were also on a timer. The way that worked is that you were given a construction zone, and every day that you logged in, you got an extra day with it, but if your timer expires, then your construction zone will just disappear. And although it was simple to keep your build site up and running, it was basically the developers saying, oh, you're either playing this game consistently, or we're throwing all your stuff away. But the people that did play Landmark played the hell out of the game, and tried their best to stay devoted, because even though it was tied to the disaster that was EverQuest Next, Landmark was still a great standalone game that had lots of potential. But unfortunately, the game ended up being murdered. And not quick and clean like EverQuest Next, no, this game was stabbed in the back and left slowly to bleed out. What happened was that a lot of people paid a lot of good money to see this game be made. And to be fair, there were quite a few patches that improved the overall experience, and these weren't no 200 megabyte hotfixes, no, these were like fat ass 3 gigabyte updates. But the game wasn't done. In some opinion, it wasn't even close. But the developers released it anyway on June 10th, 2016. And there is a theory that Landmark was only released to avoid having to refund people's investment in the game. And this has become so controversial that there are multiple people wanting to file a class action lawsuit against the developers, because Landmark was only officially available to the public for around 6 months due to its shutdown on February 21st, 2017. And they put out a statement saying that it was with a heavy heart to inform you of their decision to close the game. Kinda like how someone had a heavy heart when Hero's Song was shut down, or how they were heavy-hearted when Free Realms, Star Wars, Vanguard, and Wizardry Online all shut down the same day. But the thing is that their hearts weren't quite heavy enough to offer any type of refund. Once Landmark went offline, that's it. You got everything taken away. And not only that, but the developers also took away the source code too, saying that they refuse to authorize any type of private server or emulation for the game. They cut and ran with all of the community's hopes and dreams along with their money. Daybreak's community went from being an excited group of friendly players wanting nothing more than to spend time playing their favorite game while maybe making a few friends to share their experience with, to a mob of genuinely angry and cheated people that have been conned over and over again. And I don't really blame them, but I don't think that Daybreak is the worst developer ever either. I mean, they have fresh and innovative ideas and seem to always start a project with nothing but the best intentions. And not everyone in the community is calling for a witch hunt. Some people are actually content with what happened and look back on Landmark with fond nostalgia. Look, the simple fact is that mistakes were made. Large, project-destroying mistakes. And to me, that's entirely forgivable. But what's not forgivable, on the other hand, is constantly persuading people to spend money on the development of a game that you have no intention of finishing. And it's definitely not forgivable to hold Landmark hostage from people who will be more than willing to put the effort it would take to complete the game. Do I want to see Daybreak burn to the ground? No. Because I never got the chance to give them any money to play Landmark. People who spent an incredible amount of their finances and time dedicated to this game, I could see why those people would be upset. So if you had strong hopes that EverQuest Next was going to be the game to start a new generation, and you put faith in the same developers to create this unparalleled building experience, then spend thousands of hours creating massive structures and scraping every last ounce of fun you could get from the game, before having it all disappear right before your eyes, then Landmark is a game you might remember. Now, if you played Landmark in alpha or after release, please share your experiences in the comments. If you're a fan of the Games You Might Remember series, then you're more than welcome to hit that subscribe button. If you want to suggest a game, give me feedback, or just have a nice little chit chat, then the best way to do that is through the Daily Quest Discord. There will be an invite link in the description, and we also have a Facebook if you're into that sort of thing. Peace out.